It's been a while, but it's time for another Indie Inquiries, our store page reviews show where we go over the best ways to market and advertise your game on Steam. Let me take a look at your page for a future episode, please reach out. The series has been cursed when it comes to trying to get co-hosts for it. If anyone else wants to come on and shoulder some of the curse with me and have experience with marketing or store page development, please reach out. But we're going to be taking a look at a game that I've been checking out for a while, and as a point or important clarification, I have done some light consulting and Q&A with these developers, so they were eager to get my thoughts on their page. And of course, because I know them, that means I have to be extra critical for this review. But our game for today is Business Heroes Street Grub. This is a game that was inspired by Lemonade Tycoon as kind of in the business management sim style. But instead of Lemonade, we are going to be doing burgers, which I am very happy about there. As always, we're going to start with our thumbnail. So, our thumbnail here, I think it looks really well. So, you can see here we have a good clash or a good kind of contrast of the colors between the yellow and the blue. The actual icon here even resembles a burger, with Street Grub kind of being like the meat of it right there. We have 5 stars at the bottom, represent the bun, and I think this one does a great job of standing out. Remember, the important point about your thumbnail is that it has to be able to represent your game, and also has to catch the consumer's eye. Because one of the issues, and this will come up throughout this store page review, when it comes to business sim, management sim, any kind of like abstracted design, is how do you sell the excitement of your game? Again, this is not going to be a Devil May Cry high-octane action game, although maybe they'll add that in for the sequel. And this thumbnail does a great job of being very eye-catching. If I had like the nittiest of nitpicks for it for some reason reminds me a lot of like the Facebook era of kind of like those browser games, very bright, very festive colors. But again, I think that's more of a nitpick than anything else. There is nothing here that I would say is wrong or sticks out negatively with this thumbnail. Everything is very symmetrical in terms of how it's presented. It, again, flows nicely from top to bottom. Your eye is probably going to be drawn immediately to either like the blue of this bun or our happy smiling panda mobile in the middle. And then your eye just goes down from there. So all in all, I think this is a fantastic thumbnail for this game, and I don't see any issues with it. So I think it gets a very easy A from me. So we're off to the races in terms of high scores. But will it last throughout the rest of this review? So with that, we're going to turn to the trailers. And remember, you're going to have at least one primary trailer, and then additional ones can show off more information. So, since the last time I looked at the store page, they have added in the demo announcement / teaser trailer, and then we have kind of the gameplay one. So, we're going to take a look at the teaser trailer and the gameplay one second, and kind of see where they stand. But more than likely, the teaser trailer will be kind of our primary grade, because this is the one that's being marketed to get someone to check out the rest of the game. Alright, we're all queued up, so let's play this trailer, and I'll be kind of stopping it if I see anything like over the top as, something that needs to be pointed out. So to go over this trailer, I like this intro that it has footage from the original Lemonade Tycoon. It really kind of cements to the person what kind of game they're getting into. These kinds of cuts to the promotional lines also are very well done. I like the very, again, bright, very over-the-top, cartoony aesthetic to go with this. Again, it does a great job of kind of balancing out the fact that this is going to be, at the end of the day, a very numbers-heavy driven game. Again, this is going to be a game where you're going to be managing lots of spreadsheets, recipes, ingredients, and more. Before we started this, I was kind of going over my thoughts on like the game itself. And one of the things I was thinking about was how were they going to have kind of like a stinger or big moment for this trailer. And they managed to do that. We go right there with the "you have failed." And this is another really great thumbnail concept, or really great art for this game. This one reminds me, or it really takes me back to like the era of Bullfrog, with the theme park, theme hospital, all the theme style games from the 90s. Again, very bright colors, characters that stand out, gives you a really good representation again of this game being very, cozy, very, charming to get into. Now, from playing the game, I know it can be very challenging to play, as I failed a few times myself on it. This is a very solid trailer. All in all, you don't want your trailer to be more than a minute 20, and that's if you can fill that time. This being 35 seconds, it does what it's set out to be. It gives you this idea of what the game is going to be. We have, again, great art design, great aesthetics that make it sound like it's going to be a very relaxing, or at least very easy to get into game. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And this is actually a far better trailer than when I first looked at this game, when it was just the gameplay one itself. And what I really like about this is that it's selling this game beyond just the hardcore fans of this. So people who would just look at the gameplay trailer and go, oh yeah, this is the game that I want to play. And of course it has our lovely little stinger at the end, letting you know where this is going to be coming from. Now, I'm sure that once the game is actually released, they may edit this so it's no longer, a demo coming trailer, because this is a very solid one just to kind of get someone's foot through the door. But with that, let's take a look at the gameplay trailer and see what they're showing off. Alright, so we have the gameplay trailer loaded up. So this one, when we talk about kind of secondary or ancillary trailers, these are for the people who you've already kind of got them like on the line or on the hook, and you're trying to reel them in to see if your game is worth their time. And one of the important things is that this one does not have any kind of promotional material to it. We're not going to be seeing any kind of marketing lines or stingers like that. And I do like how they're zooming in and they are changing, or they're kind of focusing on different aspects of it. But as you can see, this one is kind of giving us a little bit more of the, well, pun intended, meat of the experience. And if this was just the sole and only trailer for the store page, I would say that it wouldn't work well, because while it's showing footage, it's still very dry. It doesn't have that kind of pep of the teaser, demo / announcement trailer. It's still showing good things. Again, this is a game that's being marketed towards people who like the business / management sims. So you gotta show people business and management if you want them to be excited about it. Again, you're seeing characters leveling up. It's going through things as well. And we don't really need to worry about the music here. Again, it's just kind of like your background for this game. Now, this still does feel a little bit on the longer side. And again, when we're talking about secondary trailers, you can kind of break the rules a little bit. But again, this doesn't show anything in terms of having a call to action. There's nothing here that says, wishlist this game, buy this game, etc., etc. This is just strictly to show off the gameplay. So because of that, I'm not going to be factoring this in to the overall grade for the trailer. So while this runs as I'm talking, I think this is a very solid trailer for this game. Again, the challenge, anytime we're talking about a more abstracted strategy, simi-style game, is that you don't have the same pop that you can show to someone in the same way as an action game, a shooter, or platform, or whatever. If I had, again, like a nitpick to go with this trailer, is that it's not really giving the player an idea of kind of like the more involved nature of this game. But again, this being a teaser means that it doesn't have to go that far. And if it did, it would expand or balloon this trailer out, I think, far longer than it needs to be. It's short, it's sweet, and again, I like that they compare this directly to Lemonade Tycoon. Again, this is a game that it has roots. And if you're going to do something like that, you do want to kind of let people know about. Because again, the name, Business Hero Street Grub, again, has no real relation to Lemonade Tycoon. If they just went with not even showing this opening with Lemonade Tycoon, it would be a lot harder for someone who's following a trailer or just watching these to go, wait, this is being inspired by that game? So in terms of the grade, this is actually a really tough one for me. Because it is really well done. Again, it knows who the audience is for this game. If you're coming onto the store page expecting a high action game, RPG with dozens and tons of stats, this is not that game, and this teaser and this trailer are not designed around that. So if we're grading this on kind of reaching its audience, it does a really damn good job. And again, like, I can always talk about adding more stuff, changing things around, but that would kind of mess with the message and the marketing of this. So, I hate to say it because I said I was going to be extra critical on them, but I think this gets an A. I'm trying to be like, maybe I should just say this game gets an F and end the store page review right here, but this is a very solid trailer all the way around. And again, it does what a good trailer should do. It explains what this game is going to be. It gives any kind of inspiration or kind of feelings to let you know if you enjoyed this, you're going to like that. It's all very bright. It moves at a very great pace. And at 35 seconds, it kind of sells everything it needs to. By the end of this trailer, you know, I think, whether or not this is the game for you. And again, that's kind of the whole point of this. So, good job for the developers. You gotta throw something bad on the store page quick so I don't look like I'm giving you guys a purposely high grade. So for the next part, let's take a look at the images that they have. For those of you who are new, you want to have at minimum 5 different and unique images that you can show people that can represent different aspects of your game, and more importantly, that aren't featured in the trailer. And for management or any kind of sim or abstracted games, these images are all the more important because this is where you can start showing off more the meatier aspects. And this time, no pun intended. You want to be able to convey to people what kind of gameplay is going to be in this game. You're going to have, like, you know, character descriptions and character pages. This is where you want to show them because you want to build in the player's mind, what am I going to be doing in this game? So let's go over these images. So we have kind of like your standard ones. And part of the problem, as another issue when it comes to like management style games, is that because everything is menu driven, it does become a lot harder to stand out with different images. Because one image of, you know, a spreadsheet could look very similar to another image of a spreadsheet. But yeah, you can see how we're showing off a little bit more of the more enhanced or more advanced elements of this game. Like this image here is good for this specific section. Like something like this, just showing here's all your budgets and numbers, wouldn't really fit in a 30 to 35 second teaser trailer. And again, we're showing off the upgrades. I think this was featured in the gameplay trailer or something similar to it. Okay, you're balancing. Now, this was definitely in the trailer itself. But it's still a really good image. Again, kind of like, is a good, like, final note for it. But again, we're showing off more elements of it. And like I said, these kinds of games are very hard to get a pop when it comes to images and trailers. Because again, you can't make bar graphs and budgets super sexy. Maybe for those of you watching, let me know what your ideas are for that one. And again, we're over the 5 screenshot minimum, which is good. Still showing things off. Okay, that's a good one. If I had a kind of a nitpick from this, and this is coming from someone who has played the game, I know a major aspect of kind of managing this out is trying to figure out what is the best recipe for each area. And the best recipe is randomly shuffled as you play, or at least it was in the last version that I checked out. And there is no mention of that. But other than that, I think this is, again, really solid. And this particular section, when it comes to thumbnails, it's very easy to get a low grade or very easy to get a high grade. It's very rare to get something in the middle, because you either did your job right or you didn't do your job right. And I think all in all, it again serves its purpose. And this is, again, something that I always like to point when we do our store page reviews. It is about how you market your game and who you market your game towards. If this was an action game, or any kind of reflex-driven game, having an image like this would be a huge no-no. But again, this is a game that's about a business sim, the Lemonade Tycoon style. And balancing your spreadsheets, looking at pie graphs and charts, it's kind of what you have to do. And the game knows its audience. And I think with that, this gets another A. But like I said, it's very hard to just get an average when it comes to your thumbnails. You either got the assignment or you failed the assignment. So, again, a really solid mark so far. Is this going to be like the anti-curse episode that maybe we'll get when that gets an A+ score at the end? Let's see. Alright, before we get to reviewing the About This Game section, there's something very important we need to talk about. Steam/Valve have recently made an announcement that they're changing how store pages can be designed or how they can be marketed. And in particular, they're removing the option for you to set links to other places and other games, such as having a join our Discord community right here. One of the things that we've said on previous store page reviews is that if you have like a special forum, a Discord, a unique site, whatever, you want to include a link to it and make it something that's very bright, something that catches your eye. And this is definitely what we want to see right here. But with Valve going to be making that change in the future, it is going to be kind of changing how I'm going to be grading these store pages going forward. And for those of you who may start watching the older episodes of this series, it's going to be not as relevant, going forward in that respect. But let's get to our store page here. So, we have our first paragraph. Once again, inspired by Lemonade Tycoon. We have our game kind of bolded there, turn-based strategy. And again, you want GIFs, you want good sections, you want things that are going to catch the consumer's eye. And GIFs are a really good example of this. And I like that as we're scrolling down, we'll go back up in a second, but I do like how each section has its own unique banner. We have like a character over here to kind of differentiate from the other ones. That is really well done. So for our first GIF here, it's just like kind of people walking around, he's getting angry. It's good, it's not overly long, no sugarcoating, your business, your rules. Right through the ranks. And I like that they've added in more characters to this. It's a great way of, again, kind of adding a face or adding more personality to a very numbers-heavy game. This, watch your money go up. Simulation, make sure you have enough stuff. Good job. Again, kept it nice and speedy. Build, innovate. Wait, you can fix bad weather. Can someone let me know about that one, how you do it? But I like this like little dog here having a fit with the rain. Alright, so for our next section, we have game modes, career mode, sandbox, daily challenge. Good. We have a nice, lovely little thumbnail or banner here to show off their early access or their roadmap. That's great. Features. If I had a nitpick for this one, I would have liked maybe just like one more GIF or just like one more thing at the bottom, just to again like provide a nice little sandwich. And there's another restaurant food pun for you for a review. But so just something like at the bottom here to draw your eye, because this section is probably the driest of it, with just, okay, it's going to be a simulation, economics, and all that great stuff. And again, for a store page to do well, it has to know its market and its audience. And this does a great job. And again, one of the things that I do like about this is that they're showing off as much like color and animation as possible. Yes, there's numbers, there's spreadsheets, there's graphs and pie charts. But we have, all these different characters, we have, watching money go up. Or in my case, when I play this game, money go down very quickly. Again, I think the only complaint that I have about this, and this will be more on the nitpick side, is that it's not really explaining what is the game. And what I mean by that specifically is, what is our gameplay loop? Am I just going to be, throwing burgers out the window? How am I, making a recipe? How am I setting prices? And this is, again, kind of like the catch-22 of these kinds of games, or this kind of marketing. You want to present things very plain or very, approachable, but you still need to explain to someone where the hook is of this game. And the only real numbers that we're seeing on this About This Game section is, our time and our weather, our kind of ingredients here, and, again, money going up. And considering that you have a section down here about key features, it would be nice, I think, to maybe mention kind of like how you're doing this. What is the actual gameplay, or what is your actual job going to be as you play it? But once again, all in all, this is a really great About This Game section. It is all very eye-catching and pleasing. It captures your attention, and your eyes just kind of follow from banner to banner to banner. And it does, again, present this game very approachably. And that is, again, one of the hardest things to do when it comes to any kind of management, business sim, that kind of experience. So, again, in light of that, and with what they're trying to market this game towards, I think I will give this a B. And the reason why I'm not giving it an A is that while this has all been very approachable, it's been very, again, pleasing to the eye, it's still not telling me one thing. What am I doing in this game? And that's going to be, I think, a very tricky part to balance with a store page like this. Because, again, telling me that this game is about Lemonade Tycoon, okay, great. If I didn't play Lemonade Tycoon, what does that mean about your game? So I can see it does say, optimize inventory, make crucial financial decisions. It would be nice to show off, again, what does that actually entail? Maybe just one more section about trying to please the audience or please the consumer, and showing someone filling with a good burger here, or a bad burger, or an average burger. Just something that someone can just look at the store page and go, okay, so that's what I'm doing in this game. But all in all, this is still really well done as a store page. Alright, it's time for the final section, as the title card. This is the one that's very important to Steam, as this is how Steam will know who to send your game to on that lovely algorithm that they have. Starting off with the genre tags. Remember, at minimum, you want 3 tags. And I do see some issues here with this entire section. So, to actually go off the title card for a second, it's listed up here under single player. And if we scroll once again back down here, you can see that the game is mentioning multiplayer. So, I do not know at the moment if they're going to update the page or they'll update the description of this game to feature multiplayer. When the time comes and multiplayer is a part of this game, do not forget to update that here, and to definitely add a tag to it down here as well. So we have two really good tags and one kind of gimme tag with the early access. The only other tag I would suggest they would add just to be more complete would be single player. But simulation strategy, they are very working for this game to a T. Now, as we look down here, we have a website, we have X, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, all that good stuff. And again, if you have these connections, put them in this point right there. But yeah, all in all, this is another section that it's very easy to score high or very easy to score low. And it's also why this one in particular, it's not as important to the consumer, but it is important to kind of the health of your store page. If Steam doesn't know what your game is or what kind of genre, they are not promoting it. And if you want your game to show up down here at the more like this for other games, then you need to have this stuff right. It's similar to Xenonauts, so I guess maybe there's alien busting coming in an update to Business Heroes. If developers are watching this, let me know when the XCOM mode gets added to the game. But still, really great. Like I said, the only thing that I would knock this for would be not having a single player tag. If we go to the YouTube page really fast, and hopefully OBS will just update it right there. There we go. We can see the latest video was 3 weeks ago at this time. So this is definitely looking like there are videos, but they are coming not as frequent. And typically, if you're going to have a YouTube channel, you want lots of videos on. You want to be showing all different aspects of it. But this is more of a kind of secondary. And again, for this show in particular, we are focusing exclusively on the Steam Store page. So for our title card, again, I think I'm just going to give it a B+. I think it's really great. Like I said, the only thing it's missing is single player, and that's just more of a nitpick itself. I gotta be at least a little bit harsh on this so I don't show any favorites. And with that, it's time to get to our final grade. So looking at my notes here, we have a whole lot of A's, starting from the thumbnail to the trailer. And again, the images are not as highly, or they don't matter as much to your overall grade. The lowest grade that I gave this was the B to the actual About This Game section. And that is not a horrible grade to be had, especially again, for a game or for a genre that is very hard to, again, sell the spice and the uniqueness of it. So, with this set, I don't think I can give it a higher grade, but I don't think it's going to come down either. So, as we always say with these reviews, that your grade starts at your trailer, and then everything else will either make it go up or make it go down. And since the trailer got an A, I think overall for this store page, it gets an A. And that's not good, because again, I'm trying not to show any favoritism, because I know these guys. So, if anyone, we need to quickly find something to just give this store page an F. Maybe no one will notice that. But as I said, I've been looking at the store page over the last few weeks as I was getting ready to do this show again, and it is definitely far more improved since the last time I was going to look at this. And having this teaser, I think, really does sell this game really well. And it's why the trailer and the thumbnail are so important to the grade when it comes to your store page and how you market your game. This thumbnail does a great job, again, as I said at the start, of catching and attracting someone's eye to it. And this teaser itself, it's short, it shows off all the major beats of this game, even has kind of like, again, like that final note for the trailer. And this is the kind of stuff you want for your game. It's the kind of stuff you need if you are doing like a management or an abstracted heavy game. You have to be able to make this pleasing to the eye of someone. Even if they are that super hardcore fan who's played every single example of the genre, you still need to present them something that is going to be interesting to them. Because why would they want to play the umpteenth version of a game that they've already spent dozens if not hundreds of hours in? And this is a really great store page example of that. So, to Visionaries, congratulations for the store page. Really solid example, and if you are a developer working on a very abstracted game, one that again is more on the drier side in terms of the content or in terms of its presentation, this is a good store page to kind of give you an idea of how to sell it. Because again, when you're marketing your game, you're going to be marketing it to three distinct groups of people. The hardcore fans who know the genre inside and out, the kind of middle of the road, they may have heard of it, maybe they're just looking for some cool new game on Steam to check out, and then the complete newcomer who they have no idea what a Lemonade Tycoon is, what the heck is a business sim, why is there a panda with looks like cups and ketchup and mustard in it? These are all very important questions to answer. And again, this store page does a great job. And for those of you who are watching this, again, when we review store pages like this, we have to take into consideration the market and the genre itself. Because we have played, or we've reviewed store pages in the past of very action-heavy games, very, high stakes, slashing, jumping, blowing things up, shooting, whatever, and we've gave them lesser scores than this. And that doesn't mean that those games were worse, doesn't mean that this game was better. It's a matter of how you market these elements to someone. How can you sell the uniqueness of your game? Because if you can do that, and if you can do that in a 3 to 5 second GIF, that's all the better for it. So with that said, that's going to do it for this review. We're starting things off with a very high note. And if you'd like me to pick apart your store page for a future episode, please let me know about it in the comments, send me a message, do all that great stuff. And with that said, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and see everyone for the next review, and hopefully with less or fewer curses to go with it. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.